Hail, hail to the I. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And thank you for joining I. And so right now, I am going to this will be part two of Aten Ra. Who is Aten Ra? So let's go to the next slide. So here on the screen, I want to show you all of the cells of Aten Ra. Oh yeah, I just want to go over the cells of Aten Ra. So remember that, just a recap. So remember that Aten Ra and Amen, they make one self. Um, all of what she's doing is she's self-replicating. She's self-replicating so that, because she has a destiny to create a world, a dream world. And she now is making replicas of herself to be the world and to play all the characters in the world. So all the selves in the world, the real selves, are the baby of Aten Ra. And so we are in the world, um, exploring as Aten Ra. And she says that everyone in the world, just like when you um, look at a single drop of water, every single drop of water is unique. It is so different. This is how it is for every self that she brings into the world. Everyone is unique. No two is alike. They're all different. If you study the properties of water, you can learn a lot about Aten Ra, of how she self-replicates and how the self works. So this is what she told me, that no two self is alike. They're all different. And so again, our first self replica is the primal guru, which is imprinted within each and every soul. And her herself that is the world is Supreme Ra, and her other self is Nut, that is the sky. And their masculine, the masculine of the primal guru is Shiva Shambho, and the masculine of Supreme Ra is Set. The masculine of Nut is the Archangel Gabriel. All right. So now that we have recapped that, and we know that Aten Ra, she is non-dual, and all of herself, they are self-replicas. Supreme Ra is the partial duality, while the primal guru was always just electrical. Um, it was just the self, and it's light. It had no was same like the soul. It had no consciousness to it, and now she was using the consciousness of anyone. When she comes in the body with you, she would use your consciousness to communicate. So these are the self-intelligence, because we've only been familiar with the mind intelligence. So now let's take a look at the mind intelligence versus the self intelligence, because This is very important because everything into this existence is based with the mind intelligence, which we are familiar with because everyone is existing as the mind being, the mind avatar, the ego false self. And the energy that this whole existence was the predominant energy was the magnetic energy. um and so, but now the Aten Ra and the ISF Supreme, they are bringing a lot of electromagnetic energy, electrical energy in to balance out this magnetic energy, because they are merging with themselves and changing the energy. I'm turning on a lot of lights. So this is very important because we've been only being familiar with the mind intelligence. That's why many one don't even know they have a self intelligence. They're just stuck into this intellect, and the way that people say you're smart, if like they say, oh, this person is a genius, they can do maths and do science and do all these things. But that's only the mind intelligence. And remember, the mind is sleeping and it is an intelligence, but it does not know the real. The mind does not know the real. And so this is why you need your self intelligence, your soul, the most powerful thing in this dream. That's why they were seeking it, because they know that they cannot be one and be balanced without the self intelligence. So they were stealing your soul and you didn't have it. See what I'm saying? So you have to get your self intelligence. You need the soul. You need the power that you are. You need it. You need your self intelligence, right? I want to emphasize that us, the soul self, we are in the lowest state of the self, right? So we start off from the non-being state, from the stillness, the unmanifest, makes a baby of its self, which becomes the first light, the primordial light. And then the primordial light make a baby of itself, which becomes I am that has no name, I am that can't be explained. And I want you to understand that the self is explaining and telling us about ourself by all of the non-dual, right? So if you want to know the properties of the self, like science want to know what dark matter is, what dark energy is. It is I in all of these form. The dark energy, it is the primordial light, and the dark matter is the primordial darkness, and which is the self replica of the primordial light. So everything in this existence is a self. It is an intelligence, one, the mind intelligence, and then we have the self intelligence, right? All of the mind intelligence, they exist as the ego, false self, the supreme ego characters, which is all of the gods and deities them that you know in the world. The Pleiadians, the great spirit Legbo, the Greys, the galactic beings, Shango, and all of the Galactic Federation, the space beings. I just don't remember what the name of the space being is, because I encounter each of them individually, and I got the name mixed up for this one, and I haven't found where I wrote it down. And then the universe is Ogun and all of their self replicas. The realm, which is um Anu and Elohim, the cosmos, which is Enki and Enil, and at at no, Atum is the realm, and Atom and Heteru, all of these selves, they're all the dualities, and any of their Their self replicas, they are all mind intelligent. So they can tell you about the dream, because remember, they are dreaming up. Like if Shango come and tell you about the galaxy, because he's dreaming up this, and he's not a he either. He just comes in the masculine because he's in the mind avatar. All of these selves, the space, the galactic being, the great spirit, the primordial darkness, which is Lucifer, they have no, they are not masculine or feminine. They are the unified self. It's only us from the realm, the the cosmos, and all of them in the world. This is where we are fragmented. So like Enki, Enil, um Elohim, all of them, and all the other gods. There's so many of them because they are self replicas. These are the original, and they make replicas of themselves. So this is why you don't hear me call their names. That would be in a different video to tell you all of their self replicas that they make. So they are all the mind intelligence. So they know a lot of things. So this is why they have been writing books and programming you into the dream. But this dream existence is not you. You don't belong anywhere into this dream. This dream is going to be dissolved. You have no knowledge of yourself. No, you need to shift from this mind intelligence, no, to the self intelligence. Right? The screen, which the duality existence is being played out on, is the I Self Supreme Primal Light. So I want you to know that every one of these selves, they are inside of each other. The world is inside the cosmos. The cosmos is inside the realm. The realm is in the universe in space. Space is in the galaxies. This is inside of the great spirit. The great spirit is in the primordial darkness, and all of this is inside of the primordial light. Is the screen, but it's inside of the black hole, which is I am that has no name. I am that cannot be explained. That is the self intelligence that all of these is in. So know that we are actually, all of this is being built inside of a black hole. I know that you might not see it, but you don't really know, because what, you are inside of a belly of yourself, Ra. Can you see what your mother's face look like? You don't see it. Science are probing. They're using telescopes to look outside, but they cannot go beyond the duality. They cannot see beyond the duality, because on each of these levels there are screens. Not even the gods them could go beyond the screen. They could not go beyond the screen to get out, because they're sleeping. You have to wake up to get out. Only way you can get out and go into the screen of the primordial light is to wake up. And this is what the I Self Supreme is doing. Each of the self, they have a self replica. Now, they belong, the primordial light makes the self replica of the primordial darkness, which is Lucifer, and Lucifer is the one that brings into being the Pleiadians and all of those beings. So know this: the mind intelligence is the dream, the self intelligence is the real. The mind intelligence, they are the spirit, while the self intelligence, they are the primal light. Right? They are, the mind intelligence is all magnetic, while the self intelligence, they are electromagnetic. Right? So us in the body, call the self soul, we are in the lowest state. Just like our world is the lower level of the creation. And so all of the dualities are being dissolved, starting from the primordial darkness. Right now, the primordial darkness has been dissolved, because the I Self Supreme Primal Light as merged with the primordial darkness, Lucifer, and is now Lucifer's light being turned back on, and now it's being illuminated. So the same thing with the I am that has no name. The black hole is now merged with the great spirit, and so each of the selves, they are merging and merging, and so the light's gonna be restored here, 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 and it's gonna come right down till we get to the cosmos, and then it's gonna come to our world. So this is the layers of the duality that we are inside. Look how many levels of dream that we are in. All of these selves are sleeping and dreaming. We are inside all of these dreams. And now the selves are going to wake up. All of these ones, only their light need to turn back on and they will be awake. These ones, they have to return back the consciousness back onto Ra. So because they are the shattered, fragmented self, the consciousness is the shattered, fragmented consciousness. So this is why these ones here, they are still in the duality, but they are unified with their self. And so these ones now, their light is being restored onto them. They are moving all of this into balance, and then they're dissolving all of um their spirits, that all the clones or the false selves that arise inside of the dream. They are dissolving them. All the Pleiadians are being dissolved back into Lucifer, because Lucifer bring them into being. All of the grays, all of those aliens are merged back. They should no longer exist in the world, because if any are coming to you, it means it's only the consciousness is doing it and tricking you. They no longer exist. So the galactic beings on all of them, they're also being merged back into Shango. And so this is what's happening on all of these levels, and it's going to rise and come back down. If you think that you don't believe what I am saying, I want you to start watching some science videos, because science is confirming what I am saying. They're just using different language. All right? So they are merging what science is saying. Is saying that black hole is I don't remember the words they are using, sucking things up, but it's just itself. It's merging back with itself, bringing back all of those dualities back into itself. So it's not doing anything bad. Science is making it sound like that because they don't understand that it is the self that's dissolving the dream and returning it back to real, all of itself back from waking up from sleeping. So this mind intelligence is a stupid, only the mind intelligence is only to the dream and not to the real. If you want to know the real, then you have to stick with the self intelligence. You want to know the dream, then see all those, you're in the mind intelligence. If you want to know the dream. But right now, my encouragement to you is to seek the real. Seek your self intelligence. Because this mind is a duality and it's crazy. So Aten Ra, she is at the next level. She is our parent. And the manifest is the parent to Aten Ra. The unmanifest is the parent to the manifest. So as you see, the void self manifest is the parent to. So each of these self, you can see they are the babies. These are all their baby self going down. So here, the baby, the primal light. The primal light make a baby. I am that has no name. Telling us, I am that has no name. I am that can't be explained. Then that makes a baby, the void unmanifest. The void unmanifest make a baby, the void baby unmanifest. The void baby unmanifest make a baby, the void manifest. Now this self now, all of these selves, they are unified, just like all of these one here, they're self-replicas. The only thing with these ones, they're light. In the mind intelligence, their light is obscure. Over here, they are balanced. They are electromagnetic. These are just magnetic. And so now the fractal from come down to us, 1, 2, 3 levels of the selves here, they are shattered. The masculine and feminine is no longer unified like in our other selves here. This is why we are in the world, and we're seeking for love, seeking for this, because we are shattered and fragmented. Our masculine, our feminine self is not merged with us, so we are seeking. But I say, don't seek anything except your soul, because once you unify with your soul knows where your other aspect of yourself are to merge with you, so you will feel whole and balanced. But if you don't go to the soul, you'll never know. If you seek it and look for it in this dream, like many ones are encouraging you to go find twin flames, this is where the twin flames things come from. Because you are a shattered, fragmented self and you don't know yourself. Because if you seek your soul know where your masculine, or if you're the feminine self, whichever you are, your opposite. Your soul knows where all of itself is. So you don't need to go look in the dream as a dream, as a, the dream character, because you're sleeping and you have no self-awareness, so you don't know where yourselves are. So you are blind leading blind, stumbling and following what someone else is telling you. You get your soul know precisely where everywhere all of itself is. So it becomes easy for you to know who is yourself. I know where all of myself are. Mahat is myself. She is no longer in the world for anybody to call on her to do crazy things like she was doing. She's with me. And if any Mahat show up to you, any Isis show up to you, any asset show up to you, know that they are some other impersonators, because she's in this body right here. So this is what the gods them do. They impersonate others and they tell lies and they trick you. I know where all of myself are. Shiva is myself, is merged with me. Shiva came into the world as many different characters, which I will talk in another video. This is all about Aten, so I'm going to stay focused on that. But I am just saying to let you know that there's no reason for you to go look into this dream blindly for something when you cannot even see. Like you're blindfolded, you're in searching for something and you can't find it. Searching. No. Open your eyes first. Wake up so you can see what, and you can know where you have to find what you need. And many also are telling you, oh, you need to do shadow work, go find your shadow. Why would you want to go find some shadow? You don't have any light. How are you going to give light to your shadow? No, you illuminate yourself so you can bring light to any, you know what your shadows are? Those, like the seed. When you plant a seed and it grows, right? When you look at the tree, you see many fruit, right? Your shadows are those clones that was rising from you. They are in the world as your shadow. They are your clones. You cannot go do all of the craziness they are doing. You think you can save them? No, you need to go find your soul, bring balance to yourself, and then this is how you help them. So don't let them tell you to go for finding shadows. You cannot help your shadows if you are blind. How are you going to help them? You have no light to give them. Get to your soul, turn your light on, and no, you can't go find your shadows. Because no, you can't give light to them. You know how many? One soul has so many clones. There is so many clones. You want to go find all of those shadows? That's why many ones are doing in so much suffering into this spiritual journey, because you're sitting there going to look for shadows. No, get your soul and wake up yourself. I'm telling you, this is the way to go. The mind is tricking you. And so it's time to stop following others, and it's time to inquire within yourself. Ask your soul. I did not know. I said, what is a soul? Soul, I want to know. Speak truth to me. And so right now I want to talk about who is Ra, and really show you so you can get a better understanding of Aten Ra and the relationship that she has with Ra. Aten Ra and Ra is like this. They are constantly moving together. Aten Ra is here. She is the primal light. Ra is also primal light. But this is Ra during the day. When during the day, she's shining her sun. Aten Ra is behind her. This is why you don't see Aten Ra. Aten Ra is guiding her. Aten Ra cannot leave her. Aten Ra moves with her every move she makes. Um, now in the world, because now she is joined to Aten Ra. Before she wasn't. Now there is void between Aten Ra and Ra, because Aten Ra is directing her to dissolve the dream. This is Aten Ra self in the partial duality. During the day, when Ra is awake, this is how you see her in the sky. But when sunset, you notice when sunset, you see she get the by the time the night comes, her light gets turned off, and this is how she becomes now. But do you see her? You don't see her because the consciousness obscure her. She's being obscured by the moon. So she is really behind the moon. So when you look in the night sky, you're seeing the light side of the moon, or the reflective side, and not the opaque side. So Ra is sleeping and her light is turned off. This is how she creates the night. She creates the night for us by going to sleep. When she rises again in the morning, this is how she rises up. She's herself. Now she is not in the masculine. When she goes to sleep, she no longer has awareness. She becomes the moon, right? And now it's masculine. So I know many ones are saying that the moon is and the sun is masculine and the moon is feminine, but it is not so. The sun is always feminine. That's the sun that shines. As you see, I'm showing you that is Ra and Aten Ra. They are the two sun that is in down here into this fragmented sun that is shining. Know that all of us, we also have a sun. But because our sun is not the one that with the destiny for the world, it is only the sun for ourself. So Aten Ra, she is the one that brings into being the pure atom, all of the self that we call the souls. While Ra, she is the one that makes the clone inside of the dream, all not the human beings in the body. So when the soul makes a baby of itself, Ra, she clones all of those babies, and they arise in the dream as the dream characters. They are all magnetic and they are sleeping. This is why you have so many ones in the world. They are doing so many crazy things. And even science have proved this, because they have run tests on them and see that the way that they are made up is different from everyone else. They do not have something within them, which is that light. They do not have it within them that makes them have this awareness of bad things to have this the conscience. Science have proven this. They are all the doing of Set, and they have more mind, more magnetic energy, while all of the souls, they are electrical. The souls have no magnetic energy at all. The when the souls have magnetic power is when it connects back to its spirit self, its baby self in the world that is animating the body, that is also a human being. So know that there are two kinds of human being. There's one with a direct connection to a soul, and the one with is a clone of the spirit that is sleeping inside of the dream, that rise in the dream, while the soul came as a baby of Aten Ra and enter into the dream. The clones, they rise in the dream because that's why those God was saying, I created you, because they were a creation from inside of the dream. Sorry, let me get this light back on. So know that you were not created and you were not born. This body was born, and all the clones, they rise, even though even science right now is doing this. Science is taking the DNA from the feminine, DNA from the masculine, female and male. They're putting it inseminated into the womb of a woman, and they're making their own babies, right? And you can say, oh, I want this or I want that. They can tweak it, gene splicing and gene, manipulation, whatever they're doing. So know that this has been done before. So many different bodies are being made, right? This is what has been happening in the world. So I want you to denounce all ties to these gods and try to seek your truth. Everyone should be seeking their soul. Even these dream characters, they belong to a self, even though they are the clones. But I understand their dilemma because their mind is sick and they cannot come to the truth because they arise in the dream and they're going to be dissolved into this dream. But all of the real selves, if you don't know who you are, everyone needs to inquire within themselves. So inquire within yourself to seek the truth. Who am I? You don't know if you're a clone or if or not, but you belong to a soul, maybe not directly. So once you inquire, you're getting that message is gonna get to your clone. You're the one that you cloned from. So you can get to the real, because it's the only way that you know you can bring light to all of your shadow self. So Aten Ra, she is the balance. Remember that she is creating this world. It is our destiny to create it, to maintain the balance, and then to dissolve it. Everything that's created must be destroyed. She must destroy her creation. Like when you were a child and you build something and then you have to destroy it afterward. You don't want to do that. This is what's happening now. There's an attachment to the dream creation and nobody wants to let go of it. Ra, all of the dualities, they don't want to let go of the dream creation. When the ego, when Ra is in her real self, she wants this dream to end because her mind is torturing her. When she goes to sleep and then trance in the dream, her mind take over. She doesn't know anything that's happening. So Aten Ra, who's always awake, who's always watching, she wants all of herself. She's in agony, she's in suffering, she's crying. She wants Ra to merge back onto her. She wants all of herself to merge back. She wants to be whole. She has shattered and fragmented herself. All her baby self. She see the suffering in the world. They crying out, crying to her. The confusion in the mind. She is suffering. Aten Ra cries. She cries. She wants all of herself. She wants to be whole. She's in suffering. She wants you to know that. She's in suffering. She wants all of herself to merge back into her so that she can stop feeling pain and suffering. The gods, they don't feel no pain and no suffering. This is why they want to hold everyone into this dream. Aten Ra cries. She suffers. She feels your pain. She knows the suffering. This is why she wants to bring balance. Don't be afraid of yourself. Inquire into yourself so you can know the truth that you don't belong into a dream. You don't belong into slavery and tyrannical rulership. This is how the gods have been ruling this world for ages. In tyranny, they have you, the self, the soul, in tyranny. They swallow your soul and have it within them and bring the fake light. They come to you in light only because they steal your soul. Aten Ra is in suffering. She's crying. She's crying. How do I know she's crying? Because when I sit, tears, painful tears are coming to my eyes. This used to happen to me even before I came into full realization. And I was saying to the ones around me, I said, my soul is crying. They said, what do you mean your soul is crying? But I was saying this, but I didn't really understand it. I said, there is this suffering. And I said, what is this suffering, this pain? But this was when my soul was crying, when I was into the self as the spirit, and I had inquire and wake the self up. And when I come awake, and Set was enslaving the soul, and I had to battle to get the soul, to get myself back into union. So this is what I'm saying. Aten Ra, she sees everything, she knows everything, and so she's saying, I hear you, I see you, and I know you're suffering because what? You and I are one. I am you. All is myself, and I alone exist. And so all of myself must merge back into me so that I can stop this suffering. So please know this about Aten Ra. No need to. You cannot see her and know her because you are dreaming inside of her self replica, Ra's belly. You are in Ra's belly. You are also Ra. Aten Ra herself is actually the screen for the world. So Ra is in Aten Ra, while her son becomes the screen for the world. And so this is the problem. Because she has two sons, one is the son that is her consciousness, and one is the son that is the light for herself. So what is happening during a sunset? I want you to know what is happening. Ra goes to sleep to create the night. The Christ consciousness, the consciousness as the supreme ego, the false self called God, arises. This is the first God. Before all of the other gods, then, yeah, this is the God of the mind, the supreme ego. So know that God is a supreme ego, it's in dualityness, and know that it is not the real God, only magnetic. It's not even balanced. What is the moon doing to the sun? You need to stay vigilant. It obscure. See, here during the day, Ra, her sun shines. This is her mind. The moon is the sun for her mind, for her consciousness. But her consciousness have no light. This is the reason why when her mind takes over her, then they they go on one sheet. So this is now here in this year. This is when her mind takes over her, and you see her when the sun goes down. She turn this shade here, or when if there's a moonlit night or something like that. The mind, the moon is over her and obscuring her light. Now she rise up as the supreme ego, the false self, God. During the day, she's balanced. She's doing the balanced things. In the night, the mind avatar exists. Craziness is happening. People are doing blood sacrifices. People, I know that she's merged with Set, even crazier. They're doing all kind of craziness with all the other gods, because now everyone goes crazy um, during the night, and all of the gods them, you know, and they're obsessed with sex. They're obsessed with rituals and all these things. No, take yourself away from those things and self-inquire and bring stillness to this mind. This mind is crazy. This mind is telling you things that is not true. Ra is taken over by her mind. During the night, she no longer exists as herself. Now the ego false self arises. There is no void between Ra and her mind when she goes to sleep. And this consciousness is beating up on Ra that she will not wake up. It does not want to for her to wake up to bring the dawn of the day. The consciousness she has to fight every morning. Aten Ra has to pull this consciousness off of her, because she cannot even wake herself up. You think Ra can wake us? Can just get up and wake herself up? No. Aten Ra has to do this for her. This is how crazy her mind is. Consciousness has taken complete control of the world and all the minds of the ones in the world. This is why they program your mind in the night. Stay vigilant. In the night, before you go to sleep, you listen to the vibrations. You say your affirmations and do these things before you go, so that this consciousness cannot reprogram your mind. Ra is obscured by her mind, the moon, and the devil rules. Know that this is what's happening in the night. Yeah? This is, again, the moon is the son of Ra's consciousness. The light is turned off, the heat is turned off. So this is why this sun becomes a moon. So this is the exact same thing as the sun that you see shine. Here, this and this is the same. But why is this different? Because the light is being obscured and the heat is turned off. The consciousness wants this light, but it's fighting that Aten Ra doesn't turn its light on right now. It wants to only dominate itself, Ra, but Aten Ra wants to turn the light back onto the moon, onto the consciousness. So this is the process that has to happen. So what is the moon? The moon is the son of who? The son of Ra. The consciousness is Ra's mind, and it's only magnetic, while Ra, during the day when she is the sun, she is partial duality, because her mind is still sleeping and dreaming while she has light, but her mind has no light. So that's why she is partial duality. She has void between herself and her mind. She's in self-awareness. She knows herself. She knows that Aten Ra is herself. She knows that Set is herself, masculine self. When she exists as this is when Set wants to come and to enslave her. But now she's now merged with Set, so he can't enslave her anymore. It's just her mind is doing the enslaving right now. This is Ra. This is how she exists with her mind during the day. In the night, this no longer happens. She become obscure. There is no void between herself and her mind where she's here and her mind is here. That's why if you look, you see the moon, it follow the path of the sun, and they're always close together. If you ever look in the night, you'll see a star that's very close to the moon. That is Aten Ra. She's always shining, and always following the moon, because she's right there with the void between her and Ra. When Ra goes into sleeping, she's right there next to Ra, never leaving, always following with Ra to make sure that she's holding the balance to the world, and Ra doesn't, and the consciousness doesn't go too crazy. She's always there, holding a balance to it. Because this consciousness has to be merged back onto Aten Ra's consciousness, but the light has to be restored first. All right? So Ra has void between herself and her mind. She's awake, but her mind has no light. Her mind is still sleeping and dreaming. Her mind is not in awareness that it is sleeping and it is in a dreaming state. Her mind doesn't know this. It thinks that everything that it creates and it's in its imagination is real. This mind is, oh my goodness, it's so crazy. If you had to deal with this consciousness, you would know what I am saying. It is asleep while itself, the mind think that it is a self by itself when it's just a mind. See, you can see that she's the self, she have a mind. But when it takes over her, it thinks that it is a self. It says, I am the all knower, I am this, I am the all this. It doesn't know everything. Its knowledge is only limited to the dream, its dream state. Doesn't know the real. Ra is awake. We want Ra to stay awake, and we want the consciousness to also wake up. This is how the dream ends. So, I want to bring this reminder to say, this is not real. This world, it is all a dream. This world created inside a dream is not real. Just like when you go to sleep and your mind is dreaming, you are being assaulted. You wake up and realize it was only a dream. Likewise, the self is asleep, entranced in the dream. How long have I been trapped in this dream? As you can see, this baby is unaware and sleeping. We are unaware of our true self. We have limited knowing of the truth about who we are. Just like this fetus in the womb, so is humanity in the world, sleeping and unaware. It's time to wake up. It is time for the self to awake from sleeping. Did you know that when you awake, you end the dream? When Ra awakes, she will end the dream. When her mind awake, because her mind is sleeping and dreaming. Remember, she's using her mind to create the world, because the mind is the aspect of the self that manifests the things. And so whenever her mind wakes up, this is when she will end the dream. She cannot end the dream until her mind wake up. And this is a big task to do this. All of the I selves have to return back, because everyone in the world she gave them a replica of her. Let me go back to the next screen. I want to show you. When everyone comes into the world, Ra gave them a replica of this duality consciousness, the sleeping and dreaming mind. But you get it in a baby form. So You are in here, and so everyone that's wearing the mind has has to be returned back onto this consciousness, so that the consciousness light can be restored. Yeah. So this is why you have to wake up, so that you can return this mind back onto consciousness. So we can move from this duality state to the non-dual state. Everyone needs to wake up. This is humanity in the world. You are inside of the belly of Ra. You don't know that you are sleeping. When are you going to wake up? It is time to wake up. It's time to awake from the dream. And so I will end this talk here. And the part 3 of Aten Ra, I am focusing on Amen, that is our masculine self. Because this part I focus on her and Ra. And the next part I am going to focus on Aten Ra and Amen, because I want to reiterate, I want to emphasize that everyone into this world is Aten Ra. This is all of herself. Her self replicas are making the world, being the world, and all of her baby selves, they are the human being wearing body. Know this truth. This is important for you to know about your mother self. All right. I want to thank you for joining. I will see you in the next video.